Anita, good morning to you. Northeast Ohio, good morning to you. I'm Katie Houston. We are live out here to the Gutting Recreation Center, one of the precincts that a lot of people will be heading out to. Voters will be making their voices heard today. Polls open in just about 30 minutes, 6:30 a.m. this morning. This election day, really one of the biggest races that we will be watching is the Cleveland mayoral race. Cleveland has not voted for a new mayor in 16 years. It's been a while. Let's bring in Tanisha Cordell live here with us outside the rec center, breaking down a lot of big issues face Cleveland voters. There's a lot of things heavy on their hearts and minds as they go to the polls to vote for the next leader of the city. And you talk to experts about which ones really are impacting people.
Yeah, so we spoke to one political expert at Cleveland State University. She says, of course, those big key issues. So we're talking crime, education, of course, and who supported former Mayor Frank Jackson. All those going to be key indicators on who could take the win. And also, Katie, you got to hold tight because she says a big upset is not off the table. It's decision day for the mayoral race in Cleveland.
Now is certainly the time for bold, new, dynamic, visionary leadership to move Cleveland forward.
Your final candidates.
We need to look beyond buzzwords and ask a really important question. Who do we trust to do this very important job?
Kevin Kelly and Justin Bibb.
And I anticipate that voters will likely vote almost like down the line, so to speak.
Kate Kennedy, a PhD student at CSU's Levin College of Urban Affairs, studies city voting trends. She says voters are looking for a way out. They want solutions to the issues directly affecting them, ones heightened and brought on by the pandemic.
For Clevelanders, I think other issues have taken priority over the vaccine mandate in the conversation. And so it's really interesting that these two particular candidates came out of the primary because they really represented different visions for the city moving forward.
During the primary, Justin Bibb finished with roughly 3,000 more votes than Kevin Kelly. Kennedy says the numbers could indicate a win for Bibb.
Typically what happens is the winner of the primary does usually go on to win the general.
But will more voters show up at the polls? The primary race was decided by just 40,000 people, 16% of Cleveland's population.
Given the primary, I anticipate that we're going to see a modest increase in voter participation this year once all of the both absentee ballots and in-person ballots are counted.
All right, now, if you're still deciding between these two candidates, check out our interactive town hall. We've got it posted on our station's Facebook page and on our website, news5cleveland.com. Katie, I mean, we're in for a big one. Like you said, it's a big race.
Yeah, we'll see if it does drive turnout, if we see an increase in turnout with, again, this first mayoral vote for Cleveland in 16 years.
Yeah.
So, Tanisha, appreciate it. Thank you. You know, that's not the only mayoral race that we're keeping a close eye on. Let's take a look here. Another big one that we're watching is Cleveland Heights. That is where the city is voting for its first mayor in 100 years. You're asking, why is that? Well, that's because voters decided to move away from a city manager system back in 2019. The two candidates there are Khalil Sarin and Barbara Danforth. All right, another one we're keeping an eye on, the mayoral race in Garfield Heights. It has two former city council members facing off. Shayla Davis would be the first black woman to be mayor there if she wins. She is challenging the incumbent, Matthew Burke.
The future of Garfield Heights has to be industry, it has to be manufacturing, it has to be distribution.
You have to have diverse perspectives in order to lead your government in a way that it really reflects your community.
You can read a lot more about both of those candidates and their campaigns right now on our News 5 app and website. All right, a number of ballot measures, too. Let's step away from the candidates that are on the ballot that we're keeping our eye on for you here. Issue 24. This is also known as the Safer Cleveland Ballot Initiative. A lot of emotions behind this one. It is a hot button issue for Cleveland. It would change the city charter and establish a community policing commission made up of 13 civilians who would investigate complaints against police and decide on disciplinary action. Members would also have oversight on training practices and promotion recommendations. All right, voters in Berea, you will be deciding on issue 4. That proposal would change the city charter there in regards to gender pronouns. It states, quote, whenever the male gender pronoun is used in the charter, it is understood that it reflects and includes all gender pronouns, unquote. The city of Westlake passed a similar measure last year. All right, so here's an important one too, securing the integrity of our elections. That is on a lot of people's minds, and really it's the big responsibility of the Ohio Secretary of State. So Frank LaRose, he is sharing some important facts ahead of the election, including voting equipment is certified by federal and bipartisan state experts. Ballots and machines are all locked with tamper-proof seals and stored behind double-locked doors. Each board of elections has 2 Republican and 2 Democratic members. And statewide results show a 99.98% accuracy rate in the 2020 election.
One of the things that comes up from time to time is this rumor about internet-connected voting machines. Let me be 100% clear. We would never allow voting machines to be connected to the internet in the state of Ohio. In fact, it is a violation of state law. It would be a felony to connect a voting machine to the internet, something that we take very seriously.
Yeah, you see that graphic there? That's what we're talking about. He tweeted it out. I shared it as well just a few minutes ago on Twitter. You can check it out, see for yourself if you'd like to. Let's move on to turnout now. Already more than 377,000 Ohioans have cast a ballot in this election, either by voting early or absentee. That's up nearly 50,000 since 2019. Let's take a look specifically at Cuyahoga County's breakdown, showing more than 6,000 people have voted early in person, at least as of yesterday, surpassing the numbers we saw in 2017 and 2013. And about 75% of the more than 85,000 vote by mail ballots that were requested have been returned so far, with Democrats leading the way. Now remember, to vote absentee, a ballot must be requested by the voter. Ohio does not send absentee ballots out to every registered voter. The Cuyahoga County Board of Elections says they're expecting about a 30% turnout. When it comes to Cleveland specific, they're expecting about a 20% turnout for this election. All right, we're just getting started. There is a lot of important stuff that we need to get to still. How you can get to the polls for free today is a big one. That's coming up later in the hour.